Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Hello, everyone. This is Fred Scambade with Stana Bodiak, and greetings from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto as the major Junior A leaders, the Toronto Marlies, meet the Moscow Selects. There's the traditional huddle, which is a part of the Soviet scheme of playing hockey. In the nets tonight, Viktor Kриволапов, number 20. He looks like a carbon copy of a fellow that we came to know and regard so very well.
Just who are you thinking of there? Yes.
The 20-year-old Army lieutenant who gave fits to the National Hockey League players. And at the other end, we have Mike Palmateer. Number 30, there's Mike, and he's in the nets for the Marlies, the augmented Marlies.
About Palmateer, Fred, they say that he has the quickest hand in junior hockey. We'll see how he uses his hand tonight.
From the face-off, it's the Solodukin line. That's the top line. Intercepted the pass there. Dillon. It's Dillon with Howe and Goldup. A little bit of heavy work right in center ice as Bob Daly. There's a shot and a good glove save by Kриволапов.
We're going to see some robust checking in this game, and that particular play, 2 Marlboros knocked down 1 Russian there.
Moscow on the move as that puck in behind the net. Now the Marlies, there's a man upset. There's going to be a penalty there. It was Ververgaard, or rather make that Woodyat who was upset. And here's the first penalty of the hockey game with number 13 Popov getting the call. And the time at 3:03.
Moscow penalty, number 13, Vladimir Popov. 2 minutes for hooking, time 3:03.
Hooking the call at 3:03. So George Armstrong sends out Mark Hall, Dillon, Glenn Goldup, John Hughes on defense. There's Howe. No need to enumerate what his name means as far as his dad is concerned.
That hooking call is one of the easily committed infractions in international hockey. Another one is interference.
Dillon stopped up as the Soviets keep it outside their zone. Now Dillon again over to Goldup. Goldup trying to get things set up. Man loose over in the point as they pound around the net, and Kриволапов just stops play, which is the prudent thing to do. Astafiev is out there with Volchenkov on defense. Martiniuk. There's his shot.
Glenn Goldup has just returned from an injury, and he doesn't seem to be showing anything the worse for it. He's a very strong hockey player, and he should go up high in the universal draft.
The name Goldup, of course, brings back memories of his father, Hank, who played in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
There's Hughes legging it back very speedily, leaves it for Daly. Now the Marlies to the attack. Dillon, in it goes. Goldup to Dillon, up against the boards. Volchenkov trying to hold it in there, couldn't do it. Comes back to that point, a shot. Oh, just about tipped in there by Mark Howe. Brother Marty not playing as he's injured. Good play there by Daly as the Soviets threaten. Now the Marlies on the move with Goldup. Going to get around his man, and it's broken up by Martiniuk.
That puck seemed frozen down at the end there, but there was no whistle, and play resumed. It was a very dangerous.
28 seconds remaining in the penalty. As Marin going to the corner. Now Bordelot trying to work his way around. Oh, he's upset. There'll be another penalty, a shot. The Marlies now trying to get it out in front. And the call, Bordelot was tripped. So the Soviets run into another penalty just when their first penalty was expiring. This one at 4:52.
That Paulin Bordelot is a beautiful stick handler, and it seemed the only way that the Russians could stop him was trip him.
Titov is the culprit for tripping at 4:52. So for 11 seconds, the Marlies will have a 2-man advantage and the face-off in the Moscow Select zone. So things are going to get a little warm for Kриволапов, who's out there in the nets. We have Filippov as Coach Mayerov sends out Solodyukin and Terechkin.
The Russians will be playing 2 men short for 11 seconds here.
The Marlboros trying to get a shot away right in front. Bordelot, another shot. Now the Marlies trying to get it around. They're only up by a man now as one man's return stopped at the defense.
One of the Russians has returned to the lineup. They're 1 man short.
Here's Ferguson. And Bordelot moving in right in front. And Kevin Devine couldn't control that one. Marlies with 1:21 remaining in the penalty. They've come close, but really haven't had too many clear shots. Out into center ice again, Bordelot.
Fred, this is tremendously exciting hockey. They seem to be going all the time.
Shalamov. Now it comes to this side with Terechkin. Terechkin hung up against the boards by Ferguson. But the Soviets doing quite an effective job as the puck tipped down into their own zone, but they've got control of that puck. Filippov, he loses, and then it comes around to Thomas, who is one of the players added to the Marley lineup. It comes to the far side as play Scrambly. 34 seconds remaining in the penalty. And the Marlies ineffective during this penalty call, and they are called for icing with 13 minutes, 36 seconds remaining. 28 seconds remaining in the penalty to Titov, and no score as yet in the hockey game.
There's something peculiar about Russian hockey. When they have a man short, they don't fall entirely on defense. They still realize that you can score a goal when you are a man short. And quite often, you will see a man spotted out in center ice and the pass go out to him and he breaks away.
Back to the point. Shatulov and the Marlies with a pass over here for Winton. Winton, a drop pass, a good save.
Beautiful.
As Thomas was there, but the Soviet goalie, Kриволапов, equal to the task, and play is called.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Kриволапov on that one, Fred. Do you think he's another Tretiak?
Well, it's a little early to decide. Only he played under 7 minutes, but he's standing up quite well when the Marlies have had their chances. But during that power play effort, where they had the 2-man advantage for a brief period, they didn't seem to be too effective. Now they're coming back again. Here's Winton trying to get it in, and there's some of the soccer style that the Soviets use. They'll kick that puck out there if they can't do anything else. Now on the move, and he recovers, making his way out. As the Hamilton player, a long shot, easily handled. Nikitushkin reverses now as Winton was after him. Headmans that puck. Good pass. Lobanov, here's a shot, hit the post! Kapustin.
It's a beautiful shot.
And he had Palmateer right in his sights there. But I guess you've got to be lucky and you've got to have those fat, friendly posts going for you. Remains scoreless, 12 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in period number 1 of the game between the Moscow Selects and the Toronto Marlies.
That Kapustin is one of the most dangerous men on the ice. He's a very, very fast skater, and some people are comparing him to Karmelov.
Headman passes, the Marlies on the move. Right in front, they jam it in! And it looks as though Woodyap might have been the man. Jeff Woodyap. The Marlies persisted with it. And they've taken a 1-0 lead at 7 minutes, 46 seconds. We'll wait for the official on that one, but it appeared, the way they were saluting Woodyap, that he was the man who did it.
And number 8, Bruce Boudreau. Time 7:46. Jeff Woodyap from Jeff Green.
Green and Boudreau drawing assists at 7:46. So the Marlies lead 1-0. But here come the Soviets with Shattalov getting it in there. Belosov up against the boards as Martinyuk moves in. The Duke's on the move. Boudreau trying to make his presence felt against Martinyuk. They're up forechecking, and that's Woodyard, and here it's for another shot just off the target by Boudreau. There they jam it right in front. Boudreau again, he's buzzing around in there. He's making his presence felt. A long shot stopped at the defense.
Well, the Marlies seem greatly energized by that goal. They're going full blast now.
There's Woodyard in there with some effective work, and the Soviets off balance as they send it down into Marley territory over the red line. Icing called. And the fans, and a very good crowd here, should be well above 14,000. We see some empty pockets, but well above 14,000 fans at Maple Leaf Gardens for this Moscow Marley game, and they're enjoying a first period of some very, very good hockey.
I think there'll be much more than that, Fred. The seating capacity of the Gardens is 16,316, and there's a couple of empty pockets, so you'll have a crowd of well over 15,000.
That's Hughes. There's a shot right in front. Oh, and it just tipped to the side. Volchenkov now back giving chase with Astafiev as Wayne Dillon is in. Here's a shot by Howe up on the far side. Another shot. Wow, they're like in a shooting gallery now. Daly from the other point trying to get it across. And Kapustin chased back in there by Glenn Goldup. And the Marlies forechecking. Maybe taking a note out of the London Knights book. The Knights winners over the Select 6-3. Here's Howe closing in right in front. And a good check there by Volchenkov, which prevented Dillon from being that dangerous. Here's Goldup, a shot. He's gone!
One thing about international hockey, any goal sends the crowd in raptures.
Well, Goldup has scored 19 times thus far this season. He has 43 points and just persistence with a Moscow Select man hanging all over him. But he, with that backhand, found that lower right-hand corner along the ice. The dangerous shots along the ice. 9:31, the Marlies lead it 2-0. Marlboros had played rather steadily and not committed too many errors, but now with a little bit of a reckless approach, they seem to be playing it to the Soviet style. Belosov over to Shalamov. There's a play right in front of the net. Get that puck away. The Soviets, if they keep buzzing around, they're going to come up with a goal here. But there's a call there as one of the Soviet players was dumped. That was Solodyukin. He's one of their better ones.
One thing good to see about the Marlboro play, that they're always headmanning the puck. If a man is ahead and in the clear, the puck is given to him immediately. It's even action that the NHL could copy.
Devine is the man at 15:21.
2 minutes for hooking. The time 15:21.
Hooking is the sentence.
For hooking.
As the Soviets send Shalamov to center, they have Shattalov on the defense. Martinyuk. Into the Marley zone up against those boards, and it just ticks outside. Nikitushkin goes loose with Marin. Marin out there up against the glass out into center ice to relieve the pressure for the moment. Nikitushkin. Kapuskin there, it's coming back as the Soviets work it around. Shalamov closing in, gets it back to Shattalov, over to Nikitushkin. And when they want to, they can pass it around.
They still haven't had a shot on goal as yet, though, which is quite important in the Marley defense.
Well, this is somewhat the style of play that you'll see with their big team. Get that puck around until they get right in position. Good save by Palmateer on Martinyuk. It's still loose. There's going to be another penalty here. Looks as though the Marlies are the culprits. They are. The Soviets keeping the pressure on.
But the Russian goalie is asleep. He should be out of that net.
That's right. Now he's about to make a move, and the bench is at his end. There's a shot stopped at the defense. The Russians still with it. Here's Martinyuk closing in as the goalie now has made it there. They get the extra attacker on Nikitushkin with a shot. Martinyuk center in front, and the Marlies finally halt play. There's a holding penalty going to be handed out, but that goalie stands certainly asleep. Should have been over there, and as it turned out, why, they could have had several seconds of an extra attacker.
He seemed uncertain to whom the penalty was given.
Number 7, Jim Clark. 2 minutes for holding. Time 16:46. Jim Clark for holding.
16:36 as Clark has a 2-minute sentence for holding, and the Dukes will play it 2 men short for 35 seconds. 3 minutes, 14 seconds remaining from the face-off. Solodyukin out there. Over to the far side. Getting it back to Volchenkov.
Well, afraid if the Russians can't get a goal in this situation, they will lose this game.
There's a shot. Out comes to this side with Popov. Back to Popov. Astafiev is out there right across in front. There's the favorite play with the man coming in, and the Marlies get it out.
Well, that's even a sin that the Russian national team committed. They make one pass too many sometimes.
Thomas, Hughes, and Devine out there. Devine is back now. 1 minute and 16 seconds remaining as number 21, Kapustin, went for a little whirl on the ice, courtesy of a Toronto Marley. 1 minute 16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Clark.
The real connoisseurs of the game have always said that the Russians are just a little bit too artistic, and that was an example of their artistry at work where it didn't result in a goal.
Winton and Verbergart are out there as the forwards with Daly and Hughes. 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining. Popov trying to work his way in, and Verbergart took control of that puck and sent it down the ice. Astafiev for Solodyukin, back to Astafiev, and then up to Popov. Popov, a shot stopped at the defense. Good play, but it's not out of the Marley zone. Kapustin moving around. There's his shot. Oh, a good save by Palmateer on Astafiev. Shot from the middle point. My, oh, my. Right
Nobody in that
net.
slot to get that rebound, Fred.
There's a little duel going on right in the slot between Hughes and Popov. And Hughes persisted. The Marlies getting that puck out of danger. 21 seconds remaining in the penalty. George Armstrong changing his troops on the goal. As Ferguson and Edger come out. Out of the attack. Long shot, easily grabbed. Devyatov with a hot shot there, but Palmateer out with the big right glove, and 6 seconds remain in the penalty to Clark. And the Marlies continue to lead 2-0 with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in period number 1 at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
I was telling you how good a hand that Mike Palmateer has, Fred. He seems to be gloving everything.
Lobanov back to the point. They move in. The penalty is up to Clark as he returns to the ice, and the Marlies have withstood the selects despite the fact that they played it 2 men short. And behind the net, Edger harassed back there. As Geoff Green on the far side, they get the puck out in center. A race for it. As Terechkin up against Green. And Boudreau buzzing around, and then Green in behind, the puck up into the stands, and there'll be a face-off called by referee Bob Naden at the top of the Soviet circle to the left of Kриволапов, who's had a reasonably easy time in the last few minutes as his mates have come to life, stimulated by successive penalties to the Marlies, but they couldn't put the puck past Mike Palmateer, who was very stingy and had good defensive support from his mates. It's Boudreau out there with Green and Woodyat. Woodyat getting one of the 2 Toronto goals. Still in the Soviet zone as Boudreau was dumped unceremoniously and no call, and that's the rise from the crowd. A long headman pass for Shalamov down there as he works against Turkowitz.
Well, Fred, the Marlies have played excellently in this period. I'm just beginning to wonder how good of a club they are, because they've resisted all pressure here in this game, and they've come up with a 2-0 verdict in this first period.
Back to the point. Turkowitz getting it into the corner. Woodyat along with Boudreau as they scramble for it. And the period ends. A rousing ovation by the very, very good crowd at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. The score at the end of the first period, the Toronto Marlboros 2, the Moscow Selects nothing. Early in red with white. At center, Solodyukin. He loses to Daly. Daly flips that puck into the Moscow zone. Kриволапов just leaving it there beside the net, but the Marlies with Daly again, a weak shot. And out it comes as Volchenkov gets it down into the Marley zone over the red line, and it'll be called for icing.
Fred, in that first period, we noticed that there are a great number of NHL scouts here. Almost every club in the NHL, these boys under pressure conditions.
Shot knocked down by Astafiev, but here's Goldup circling in front, and Kриволапов flopped on that puck to halt play. Astafiev and Volchenkov are the pair of defensemen, 6 and 3. Astafiev in the white helmet from the face-off, and that's Volchenkov. A long headman pass, moving in, Kapustin. He scores! Kapustin. And there is a couple of trademarked efforts. One, the long headman pass, and then the other, good second effort.
That's right. That's a play that the Russians do again and again. A man seems to be skating around center ice. There's a quick pass from the defensive position, and he's away. Solodyukin is the one that you saw with the Russian Nationals against Team Canada.
Казачкин is out there along with Lobanov. Lobanov upset, no call. And around behind the net out in front, and they clear that puck, the Marlies, but there's a Marlboro that was draped, and that's Goldup, and he is injured. Looks as though he's may have a Charlie horse problem the way he's going off there. Казачкин, as the Marlies move to the attack. Now Terechkin, and here is Bordeleau. Great favorite with the fans, trying to make his way through the defense, and he's clotheslined there by Terechkin, and away he goes. Really clotheslined on that play. 4 minutes, 29 seconds, and the Marlboros will be able to trot out their power play, which wasn't too effective during the first period, during a brief two-man advantage. Holding like he was almost going to take Bordeleau's head off.
That Paulin Bordeleau is a wonderfully fast skater. I go way back on this, Fred. It reminds me of Howie Moran's in a way.
Stan, I didn't think you were that old. There's a shot right off the target. Now the Soviets moving to the attack. Martinyuk, he buzzes around. He reminds you of Maltsev and Harlamov, those two speedsters for the big Soviet team. Martinyuk again moving in. He's a threat at this point. He's used up almost half a minute of the penalty. Now the Marlboros to the attack. Edger couldn't control it. Comes loose, and Edger has it again. Edger up against the boards. Marin takes a shot from the Soviet defenseman Nikitushkin. They hold it up against the boards, and play is stopped. But the Marlies have looked their least effective when they've had the advantage in manpower.
with the Russians, it seems that any time they get a man short, they do not go entirely into a defensive position. They still save a little bit for offense.
Solodyukin and Kapustin, who has the lone goal with Astafiev and Volchenkov out there, goes back to the point. Shot by Turkowitz, easily stopped. Still in the Moscow zone, but not for too long. And here's a break. Going right in, Kapustin.
Beautiful
in
goal.
the net. A man short goal.
Short-handed goal. I was just saying, Fred, that the Russians do not go into a defensive position with a man short. And there's an example. A beautiful goal by that very, very dangerous Kapustin. Well, Fred, the Soviets are certainly looking different this period. They've come off and they're skating very, very fast. Quite a contrast to the first period where the Marlboros were the offensive people in the game.
There's Palmatier pulling a Jacques Plante as he went diving well out there to stop play with Shorin. Nikolai Shorin, number 8. He's been on infrequently. He's out there with Shalamov and Martinuk. You have Shuttlov and Nikitushkin. From the face-off, out into center ice, and the goal, Marley's goal. This is a predominant Marley crowd, for sure. Others are hockey fans wanting to see a good hockey game, and they certainly are. But there's that core of Marley fans. Shorin almost shook his mate Shalamov loose. Here it is with Boudreau, a shot just off the target. Out into center ice is Shalamov. Took a check from Green. Out of the attack, Shuttlov to Shorin. The far side for Martinuk. They close in. Martinuk, a shot. He scores! Martinuk, as Hughes went down attempting to block that, and the puck went right through, and the Selects are now in front.
Krilopov seems to have been told something in the first intermission, because every time the puck is around his net now, he's gloving it and holding the puck. He's allowing no rebounds.
Titov with Казачкин. It goes loose in behind the net with Titov on the far side. Getting that puck out to Lobanov. The Marlies break it up. Now they get a chance again. Here's Bordelot. Very flashy Bordelot taken out of play by Lobanov at the blue line. The Marlies showing a little more spirit and a little more aggressive deportment at this point as they try and get back in the hockey game. After leading 2-0, they've given up 3 second-period goals. Казачкин lost that puck. Now it's Marin trying to get away from Lobanov. Now Казачкин as he moves in, and he gives up that puck. Devyatov giving it up. Terechkin getting it in there as he and Marin collided. The far side, referee got into the play. Shorin in around behind the net. He spearheaded the attack, drawing an assist on the go-ahead goal. Right in front, they score! Martinyuk scoring, and it was Shorin in behind again, Stan.
Yes.
Who did a lot of the spade work.
But that man certainly possessed his wits at that time. He was behind the net. He was starting to skate into the open. He saw that no one was checking them, and he skated right out in front and put it in between Palmatier's legs. I think George Armstrong has done the right move there. He's got the goaltender out in time. It's just like in baseball where you must make a decision to draw or yank your pitcher. Well, this is what Armstrong has done with his goalies.
There's Martinyuk moving in, taken out of the play by Hughes. But the Soviets still in there, in behind the net, and Daly has it. They're still buzzing around. Shalamov into the corner. Nikitushkin, a shot, good save by Neville, right in front, another good save. As they try to jam it in, that was Shorin trying to jam it in, so Neville comes up very large the first time the Soviets threatened. From the faceoff, Volchenkov has drawn 2 assists on the first 2 goals. Out in front of it. Stop. Oh, good stop there. They bat at it again, and Neville. There it's loose. But Neville foiling the Soviets. Nikitushkin, along with Kapustin. Kapustin with the first 2 Moscow goals, and he could have had himself another. Volchenkov couldn't keep it in there. Astafiev goes back to cover up. With Boudreau in there, gives him a shot. Now it's starting to move. There's going to be a penalty there, and it's against the Marlies. Volchenkov on the far side. Solodukin takes a shot right at the blue line. Play called. And here's the penalty assessment from referee Naden.
Oh, it is extremely heavy boarding call. The game is getting rough. There, no doubt about it. It's a little bit chippy.
Boudreau is the boarding the call.
15:54. Bruce Boudreau.
15:54. Clark just getting that puck through the zones down over the Soviet red line as Astafiev goes back. Volchenkov out there, and Kapustin. Kapustin and Martinyuk, they've been the scorers. They've split up the 4 goals. Martinyuk trying to get it across in front, intercepted by Turkowitz, who sends it into the Moscow zone. Here's Volchenkov, Astafiev, Solodukin out there. It's the Solodukin, number 11. Offside as Kapustin was in on the left side a little too quickly.
Well, there's something you never see the Soviets do. Very seldom do they go offside. In fact, during a game, it's rare that you see them go offside 3 or 4 occasions.
Clark, Turkowitz, Bordelot, and Marin out there to kill off the penalty. 1 minute 24 seconds remaining in the penalty to Boudreau. Long shot into the Soviet zone relieves the pressure just for the moment. Казачкин on the far side as the Soviets move into position. Lobanov getting it back to the point. He gets a return pass. Here's a shot, stopped at the defense, goes back to Казачкин again. Another shot, skirts by the net. Titov in there, and it goes out into center ice.
The Russians hate surrendering that puck. They believe in puck control.
Terechhin, outs to the far side there where Lobanov. They close right in. The shot just went wide. Devyatov. Still in the Marley zone. Lobanov. As he closes in. Too much stick handling there. Now they get it back to the point. There's a shot. Gloved nicely by Neville. As
Kevin Neville seems to be playing well.
yes, he stood up very well, coming in cold in the middle of a period, middle of a game, and your team trailing by 2, and he stood up to the pressure very well.
He's catching on to these intricate Russian passing players around that goal mouth area.
Number 2, Nikitushkin, is out there along with Shattalov. Nikitushkin across to Shattalov. Shattalov winds up a shot, steered to the corner. John Hughes getting it around on the boards for Dillon. Goes loose. It close in. Martinyuk winds up. Oh, good fake. Moves right in. A shot. Stopped at the defense as Dillon was there. But what a move. The penalty up to Boudreau as he gets back into the play. And now he takes that back pass on the move. Along with Goldup, who's out there after an apparent injury. But he's back out and in play. Here's Dillon. Loses that puck. It's still in the Soviet zone, but they break out. Here's Shalamov, a shot. Neville managed to kick out a leg at that one. Now Goldup in behind his own net. Shalamov threatened. Goes to the far side. Howe coming on this side to Goldup. Goldup. He's got Dillon with him. Open wing as Howe was anchored to the blue line. Not moving in. Nikitushkin now, it's goaled up. Couldn't get his shot away. As Shadalov was there. Here's Shorin. And boy, he's been pesky.
Yes, he has.
There's Shalamov. And Hughes with less than a minute remaining in the period. Here's Shalamov getting it back. Twist and turn by Belosov. Astafiev getting it in. Trying to get it back to Astafiev. Belosov couldn't do it. Now it comes to the side. Gold up. Keeping it in the zone as he moves in. Checked for the moment. Dillon couldn't keep it in there, and it comes through into the Marley zone offside. Solodyukin racing in very quickly, but he was ahead of the play. 34 seconds remaining. The Moscow selects 4, and the Toronto Marlboros 2.
Well, Fred, what we are seeing here tonight are the best players of the Soviet Union, the best young players of the Soviet Union, the best players of Canada in the junior bracket. So it's an interesting confrontation.
Solodyukin at center up against Marin. Marin getting a pass, a shot. Good stick save out in front. As Winton tried the Soviet soccer trick and it didn't materialize. Here's Kapustin racing in. Here's the shot right in front of Neville. Makes the save with the speedy Belosov moving in, and he just couldn't tip it by. Oh, Neville continues very steady since coming in midway of the period with 11 seconds remaining and a 4-2 count. Advantage the Moscow selects. Solodyukin to center against Thomas from the faceoff. Ververgaard takes it. The dying moments of the second period in behind the net for Edger. The seconds tick off in the Marley zone. Ververgaard has it as the period ends. So the second period of play, rather a turnabout. The Marlies taking a 2-0 lead in the first period on goals by Woodyat and Goldup. But in the second period, Kapustin with 2. Bob Daly and John Hughes.
Well, in this third period, Fred, we'll just see who has the endurance because both teams played last night.
Solodyukin, Kapustin, and Belosov. Now the Marlies. Here's Howe on the move. Breaking in, Goldup. Oh, no, oh, look out. Goldup hitting that post heavily. And there, Stan, is the value of having a helmet.
That's right.
Boy.
Yes.
The center ice, it's Solodyukin up against Boudreau. Volchenkov, Boudreau trying to get around him. Just couldn't control it. Volchenkov leaving it there for Kapustin. To Astafiev. Astafiev for Belosov. Belosov around behind the net out in front. And it's Boudreau banging it all the way down to goalie Kриволапов. Astafiev, a headman pass. Solodyukin, oh, right in front. A good play there. But Belosov couldn't cash the lead pass. John Hughes trying to get out. It's into center ice. Solodyukin
It seemed like
taking
a cross-check
shot,
there.
and there's going to be a penalty there.
But the checking was a little high there.
And it's Woodyat, who got the opening goal of the hockey game, getting the sentence at 3:01. Cross-checking is the sentence. 3:01.
A very effective player for the Marlboros is Bruce Boudreau. He seems to be in there at all times, giving it all his strength.
Marin and Bordelot out there, along with Ferguson and Edger, to kill off this penalty. Flipping that puck through center ice down to the Soviet zone, where Kриволапов leaves it. Martinyuk for Lobanov. Lobanov, a back pass. Controlling that play, moving in. A shot, he scores!
Beautiful shot, yes.
Devyatov. What a shot there to the top right-hand corner. Power play goal.
Well, he moved in very beautifully there, Fred. Looked up, banged it into that top corner. Extremely fast shot.
3:26, and they didn't take but 25 seconds to take advantage of the manpower situation.
Number 14, Assist number 19, Yuri. Time 3:26.
3:26. And the Moscow team lead it 5-2. Казачкин in behind. There's a score! Wayne Dillon makes it 5-3 as he caught Kриволапов with his glove down and found the top left-hand corner.
Well, this predominantly Marlboro crowd is hungry for Marlboro goals. A great cheer went up when Dillon scored that goal. That puts them back in the game. They're not out of it yet, Fred.
5-3, Dillon scoring. Dillon has 24 goals thus far this season. Shalamov check, and the crowd coming to life. Glenn Goldup trying to make his way out for Howe. Howe up against the boards for Goldup. Goldup moving in. Goldup drawing an assist at 3:52, 5-3 hockey game. Now the Marlies to the attack again. Howe can't seem to control that one. Gets by one Soviet man. He's got Dillon with him, but they're checked. And here's Martinyuk with Shalamov. Martinyuk closing in, takes a jolt from Ferguson. In behind the net, Dillon now comes out in front, over to this side. Martinyuk back at 1 point with Shuttlov right in front. Martinyuk, and it was stick checked away by Neville very neatly. Whoops, up into the crowd. And that halts play, relieving the pressure as the Moscow team coming right back to make it a little warm for the Marlies in their own zone. But that last scoring play, Dillon from Goldup at 3:52, and that made the score 5-3 of 15 minutes and 13 seconds remaining.
Well, I like the courageous play of Glenn Goldup. He's injured, but he's still in there fighting.
Volchenkov was upset, no call, as Turkowitz in behind his own net. Getting it up there for Devine. Devine couldn't get it across for Bordelot. Now the Marlies, as they move to the attack, here's Bordelot closing in, getting around the defense, going right in, and they score!
Just a beautiful goal, Fred. The way Bordelot swept in there, I was originally comparing him to Moran, but the way he swept in there, he looked like Rocket Richard in his heyday.
Bordelot. In less than 2 minutes, and you can't ask for more than that. The Marlies coming to the attack. Ververgaard losing, but now here come the Soviet team with Devyatov into the corner, trying to get it loose, gets it back to the point to Terechkin. And the Marlboros attempting to get it out, and this certainly has put a lot of new life into the game. There's the shot. He scored! Titov, as he found the top left-hand corner again. And Neville, a little unsteady on that one. That makes it 6-4. Titov scoring.
Neville seems to be a little bit weak on that top right-hand corner. That's 2 successive goals have gone in there. He's waving at him in there. But this has turned into a great hockey game, Fred.
A 6-4 hockey game. Advantage the Moscow selects.
Well, it's beautiful watching that Paulin Bordelot. He's certainly a skater, Fred. And I told you previous that he reminded me of Moran's, but on that goal that he scored, he reminded me of Rocket Richard.
And here's a race for it with Winton being outskated. But the Marlies have the puck again, trying for Winton on the left side. A pass from Edger. Winton moving right in there. trying to get that puck away. It comes loose. And Shalamov on the move very speedily for the selects. There's Shorin. A shot stopped at the defense. Now the Marlies with Edger. Edger trying to move it out, gets it out over the line. And it comes to Shattalov. Into the Marley zone. His play a little scrambly now, and the puck shot through the center ice zone down into the Moscow zone, where Shattalov starts play to Martinyuk. And there's a man in the clear going right in, a shot. And a save on Solodyukin, who was in cold turkey, and Neville foiled him.
That's most exciting, Fred, in that play, in that particular play. The Russians seem to observe the time left in the clock, and they seem to be playing posem in their defensive zone, deliberately drawing the opposition into them, and suddenly there's that tremendous pass up through center ice, and the man is away free. And there, Kevin had to pull off a great stop.
That Solodyukin down there reminds you, he seems to be a lanky one. He's cut off of the bolt of Yakashev.
Yes, he is.
And Yakashev, one of the top players on the first Soviet team. And Yakashev, one of the stars in that Team Canada series, as a matter of fact. Kapustin with Solodyukin as they come to the side. Volchenko with an errant pass. Here's Woodyat, a weak shot into the Soviet zone. Volchenkov. There's the soccer bit again. Kick it out. Belousov trying to get it away. Woodyat came across to hand him a jolt, and the puck is back into the Moscow zone. Volchenkov with Woodyat there chasing him. Now it comes back to the point. A long high shot by Turkowitz went right outside of the playing area. Marin to center with Devine and Bordelot. Nikitushkin has come out there now, along with Shattalov. Nikitushkin giving chase as Marin is in after him. Headman pass to Shorin. Rink-wide pass from Martinyuk. Martinyuk into the Marley zone, and he's checked away from that puck by Devine. Now Shorin, a one-hander out to Nikitushkin. The shot stopped. Here's a race. Here's Bordelot. This should be a contest. Bordelot moving in, and he's pulled down. There's going to be a penalty there as Bordelot is pulled down, and the fans undoubtedly would figure that maybe we should have a penalty shot.
Oh, that was a good race for the puck. The Marlies' fastest skater, Paulin Bordelot.
From the face-off, it's Astafiev up against the boards as the Marlies with Goldup. Goldup trying to keep control of it. Coming loose. In behind. Dillon. Now he gets it back over on the far side. And that Goldup's a real scrapper, I'll tell you.
Yes, he is. He's in there.
Kapustin out over his own blue line to center ice with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in the penalty. A shot. He scores! Oh, what a shot that was to pick the...
That's 3 goals for Kapustin.
The minute opening on the right side as he was coming in.
You know that Martinuk is not in the game at all now. This is the last game of the Soviet tour, so I guess he's looking forward to that plane back to Moscow, isn't he? Don't you think so, Fred?
Well, it's always nice to go home, no matter where you're from, but, you know, when they come outside the Soviet Union, Stan, the Soviet hockey representatives live pretty well. There's a goal! Well, there was a deflection as Kриволапов seemed to do a little sit down there, and the puck just curled up and over, and we'll have to wait for the official. It's 7-5, 3 minutes, 32 seconds remaining, and don't go away.
I think that Martinuk has contaminated the Russians a little bit there. His nonchalant attitude has led to that goal. The Russians have fallen asleep a little bit. The Marlies are still in the game.
Could be Winton is the man. But we'll wait for the official. 16:28, and it's 7-5. So if goals make a hockey game, the fans should go away delighted with this one. And they should, because it's been quite a game. From the face-off, Kapustin. There's Winton scrapping in there. Astafiev comes up with the puck. Over on the far side, as Belosov right in front of his shot. Neville kicked that one away. Solodyukin moving in quickly. Now the Dukes to the attack. Edger. Here's Verbergart.
Number 21, Ferguson. Time 16:28.
Winton was right from Ferguson. Good play there by Ferguson to get that puck out of danger. All those wide passes with men in between. There's Winton. Back to Winton again. Winton as they move right in. A shot. Oh! And a good play there by Kриволапов. Moving right in. A shot. He scored! Devyatov. And oh, what a shot there as he was unmolested drifting through. And that makes it 8-5. Titov just bumps it ahead. A fake. Lobanov trying to center in front. His shot hits the post. Devyatov. And he was right in position to the side of the circle. My, oh my, there's something. Penalty there as Marin was upset. And the Moscow Selects run into another penalty. However, it doesn't seem to make all that much difference because they've scored twice while they've been short a man.
You got to give Neville credit there. Here was the situation, his team down 8-5, and he was rushing to the bench.
2 minutes for tripping. Time 18:32.
Казачкин for tripping at 18:32, and the Marlies should refuse the penalty. And the puck back into the Marley zone, where coming out toward his own blue line. Across center, there's a pass for Goldup, legging it in. Nikitushkin back to Dillon. A shot hit the post. They score! Oh, banging it in. 8-6.
A lot of scoring in this game.
33. Unfortunate to hit the post on the first try, but
well, Fred, that's been the story.
Right there.
That's been the story of this Marlboro club. They never quit.
This number 19, Wayne Dillon. Time 19:33. Mark Howe from Wayne Dillon.
Howe from Dillon at 19:33, an 8-6 hockey game, and choice entertainment indeed for the crowd in rather of a festive mood, as befits the season. Coming in here and seeing a total of 14 goals, plenty of excitement, a lot of very, very good play, and wide open hockey. Fired into the Marlboro zone, where Edger gives chase. 20 seconds remaining. The Marlies still trying to cut it down. There's Kapustin. He kicked that one back in behind the net, trying to center it in front. Hits a leg, and out come the Marlies. With Green. Now in over the line. Boudreau tried to get through. And here's the Kapustin as he controls the puck, almost symbolic of the way the game went toward the end after giving up 2 first-period goals to Woodyard and Goldup. But the final score, a very entertaining game indeed. The Moscow Selects 8 and the Toronto Marlboros 6. The game at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. That's all for now. Fred Scambatti on behalf of Stan Abodiak. So long.